Okay, we get a lot of questions about what to do if your dog is uncomfortable with getting its claws clipped or getting brushed. So I thought I'd do a video and show you what we do about that. This is Zoe. She's going to be helping me today. So I had one client that the dog was so fearful and became aggressive about getting its claws clipped that they actually had to take it to the vet and have it sedated every time that they clip the claws. And that gets to be expensive and really a pain. So that dog actually came to us, and by the end, when we finished going through this process, the family was able to trim the claws at their house without any problems, and he was totally fine with it. So the first thing we want to do, is we want to take this negative experience or feeling that they have about it, and we want to turn it into a positive, and we do that using food, praise, and affection. So first thing, I don't use the tools. I'm going to do brushing too. Brushing is basically the same thing. I don't do anything with them. I just use my hands. I'm going to get the dog used to me just touching him. So I'm just going to touch her paws. Good. Every time she lets me touch him, I'm going to reward her, give her a treat. Good girl. Touch him again. Good. And just lightly touch him. And this would be going on a week, 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, but I'm going to show it all right here. So whatever the dog is comfortable with, you're on their schedule, they're not on yours. So it might take you a month to get to where you're actually cutting them without any problems. But if you take your time and be patient, use this process, it actually can become a positive thing where they maybe don't look forward to, but they have no problems with you cutting their claws because they know they're going to be rewarded as you do that. Good girl. So I continue to touch. So now she's comfortable with me touching the top, and I do this with all of her paws. So when she's good with one paw, I move to the next, touch all of them. Good girl. When she's good with me touching all of them, then I move on to just touching the bottom, just real gently. Good. Good girl. Good. So I'll grab it again. And then I'll do so, and I'll kind of make it go a little faster. So I touch all 4 of their paws, make sure that they're good with that, and I'll reward every time I touch them. I'm going to say good, give them a treat. Good girl, good. So once they're comfortable with me touching them, and I can pretty much do whatever I want, and you can do the whole body. Like, it's a good idea to make them comfortable with you touching them everywhere, because you want them to be comfortable with the vet checking them out. You want to be, for grooming, you want them to be comfortable with being groomed. Good girl. So obviously she doesn't really care if I touch her. She just wants to know when her next treat is coming. But the key is to not go too fast. Make sure the dog is comfortable. Make sure they're taking treats. And as long as they're doing that, you continue to move through this process. And by the end, like I said, you'll be able to clip their claws. Once they're good with you touching them, I'll take the clippers, and I won't even clip them. I'll have them closed. I see you. And I'll just touch the clippers to their paw. Good. That's it. I don't even have it open. I'll grab it again. Good. And I may do this for a couple days. Good. Once they're okay with that, then I'll kind of touch them the end like this with the clippers closed. And you see Zoe doesn't even like it. Come here. Good. There you go. Good. Zoe actually hasn't been through this process. When we want to clip her claws, we just grab her hands or her paws and we just clip them. So she doesn't, it's not a real positive thing for her. She doesn't like it. But she's been with us so long, she just accepts that we're just going to do it and she doesn't care. So this would actually be good for her too. Good. So pretty soon she's not going to care that I'm touching the clippers to the nails. Good. And like I said, I do this with all the paws. Just get them used to it. Just touch them. And like I said, this may be over a few days, over a few weeks. Good. But you just keep reinforcing that. Once you've gone through this whole process and you're ready to start clipping and they're good with you touching them, just take off just a tiny little bit, because at this point you don't care about actually getting them cut as short as you want them to be cut. Like when I'm doing this at first, I just want it to be a positive experience. So I just take off a tiny little bit. So I'll grab the first paw and I'll make my first clip. Good. and I'll reward every time. Good. And they might get a couple for that because that was pretty big. Good. Good girl. Lots of praise, lots of affection. Good girl. Then we're ready to go to the next claw. I'll just do the other one. Oh, no. So if they're uncomfortable, we'll go back, and I maybe went too fast, so I'll go back to this. Good. Good girl. Like I say, we haven't done this with her. We just grab them and clip them, and she doesn't like it, but she just lets us do it. So I'll do it again. Good. Good girl. Good. And like I said, give her a lot of treats for that because that was pretty tough. Good girl. Yeah. Good. And maybe the first time that you cut, maybe only do one claw on each paw, and that's good. I mean, that's enough for today. And the next day, warm up to them, make sure they're good with it. Oh, now you want it done? Here, give me a paw. There you go. Good girl. Yeah, good. And so the next day, you just do this whole process again, come up, make sure she's good with it. And then when she's comfortable with it, you've rewarded her, maybe clip another claw on each paw. And you just gradually get to this process so that it's comfortable for them. They understand that it's not going to hurt them, and the scariness goes away because they've been rewarded enough. And it's the same thing with the brush. So I start, petting them and touching them all over. When I'm ready to start brushing them, this is kind of a bad brush because it's got the bristles on both sides. But I'll get a brush that only has bristles on one side, and I'll actually touch them, good, with the side that doesn't have the bristles. Good girl. Same thing, reward them. So I touch them with the brush, good. And the brush tends to be pretty easy because once they've been rewarded enough and they relax enough, they actually start to enjoy being brushed. Good. So a dog that was before was afraid of being brushed, you'll find that they actually really like it. So then once they're comfortable with that, then actually take the bristles and start to brush them. Good. And while I'm brushing them, I'll just continue to reward her, let her know she's doing a good job. Good girl. Yeah. Good girl. Okay. So that's the process that we go through. Just remember to be very patient. Take your time. Don't go too fast. If they become a little bit nervous, then you need to back off a little bit and slow the process down. And just because you clipped one nail one day, the next day they may not be comfortable with it. You might have to back off just a little bit. Go a couple days before you cut the next one. But like I say, just the key is to be patient. Make sure that they're very calm, very relaxed, that it's very comfortable for them. Good girl. All right, thank you.